Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Egal Talks Football, and I'm back again with another video. And also, I'll be now on Apple and Spotify doing a podcast called Egal Talks Football Podcast. This will be one of my first episodes, of course, reacting to the Arsenal 2-0 victory versus Newcastle. I hope everyone's doing well. Make sure you do hit that like button, do hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify or Apple, make sure you do hit that like. Now, let's get this show started. Don't forget, we just won the game. Big win away from home. Is the title race still alive? And don't forget, Jorginho Masterclass. Mikel Arteta Masterclass. We did good today, guys. I'm proud of the team. Yes, people. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone's well, especially if you're a Gooner. Of course, you're going to be well. After that performance that we put in at Newcastle, wow, what a performance it was. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to kind of break down what I thought about the game to begin, and then we're going to work our way into the player ratings, match reactions, and just some of my overall thoughts on individuals and players throughout the game. Now, if you're watching this on the playback or you're watching live, shout out to you. What a performance for those boys. What a performance for guys like Granit Xhaka, Jorginho, Martin Ødegaard getting a goal, the whole team being extremely physical with Newcastle and playing their game, basically playing the way they like it to be, extremely physical and in your face. And that's what we were. We were extremely physical with Newcastle, and we were in their face the whole entire time. We didn't give up. We didn't go away. We didn't shy away. And yeah, I got my guy Gunnar Souls joining me right now. Big up Gunnar Souls in the building. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, just so everyone knows, I'm just gonna quickly give you guys my thoughts on the game, because I thought this was an interesting game to begin with. The fact of the matter that we went away from home and we had that type of defensive performance, we kept a clean sheet. We haven't kept a clean sheet in a long time. That is a massive thing. And the way that we started the game, Mikel Arteta kept the same team almost, except for the fact that he brought back in Martinelli for Leandro Trossard. He basically kept the same team against Chelsea. And the team that we played, let me show everyone the visuals of the team. Here you go. You can see Ramsdale. You had Ben White, KVR, who had a fantastic performance. Gabriel Magalhaes, who was amazing. My dumbass put him on the bench for my fantasy basketball team. Fantasy Premier League team. Zinchenko, Granit Xhaka, Jorginho, who was one of my man of the match candidates for the day. Let me know. Odegaard, also another man of the match candidate. Martinelli, you could easily say he was another man of the match candidate right there. Gabriel Jesus, who got literally sucker punched by Cher before he ended up scoring the own goal. And Bukayo Saka, who a lot of people are he's coming under a lot of criticism today for his overall performance. Now, let me just show you guys what happened in this game. When we look at the shots, to begin, it was all Newcastle. It felt like you had the first shot, you had the third shot, you had another Joe Willock chance. We had to weather a storm. And the shot that I think Bruno Guimaraes took was the shot that was given as a penalty. Now, I'm just going to show you guys. You let me know. Do you think this was a penalty? Because this was the chance where I think it came off Jakub Kavor. Yes, it did. It came off Jakub Kavor's thigh, and originally they thought it came off his hand. So I'm going to show you the play. You let me know if you guys think this was rightly ruled out or if this was a handball. Because for me, it was definitely hit his thigh, and it was the correct decision. And I thought the referee had a decent game. No lie. A lot of decisions were like he just let the game play on. It was an extremely physical game. And yeah, people in the chat, I'm going to get to your messages in a second. But yeah, let me just show you this. This was the KVR situation. I thought this was strictly straightforward, no handball. I don't know about you. What do you think about this, Gunnar Souls, before you break down your everything else?
Yeah, on a replay, obviously, I thought it was straight away. I said no penalty. Obviously, when you're watching it live, it's different because of the angle we're seeing it at. But also, it's like, where do you want his arm to be? When you look at that position, it's as side as he can be, other than either chopping his arm off or you literally run with your arms behind your back, which isn't natural. So I don't think it was a penalty. So yeah, that's my opinions on it.
Yeah, no, I think it was great that we seen VAR actually ahead and review it. They reviewed it properly, and they didn't just rush through something. They took the adequate time needed for that decision, and that's exactly what you want to see. That's exactly how you want things to go when we're talking about reviewing things and how everything goes. But yeah, let's quickly go back now to the next point here before we go any further. I'm just going to show you guys the next point, which was actually, let me just do a quick little commercial break and go to the comments. We got Tommy in the house saying big win, my guy Tommy. We got Ben in the house saying Arteta Masterclass. You could easily say it was an Arteta Masterclass. Don't you agree? I think you could easily say that, with the fact that he kept it the same and brought in Martinelli and he had a big hand to the goal. Character inquired. We got character. Yes, we do, my friend. We definitely showed character today with the physical battle. Tommy, send the link. I'll definitely send the link later on, my friend, just because I need the crisp audio for the podcast. Steve saying, great win today. Sorry if I was an asshole before the game. Don't worry, Steve. We'll talk to you after the game on Vibes on the 6 tonight. We'll be definitely getting some apologies there. Thumbs up, Thunder Roads in the building. Big up Thunder Roads. We got John. I see John in all the chats. Whenever I'm live, anywhere I go, big up to John right there. John McDermott, big channel member and always in the chat. Really do appreciate it. We got no penalty. People are saying it wasn't a penalty. People are saying finally Arteta took Bukayo Saka off. We're gonna get onto that. Jorginho was class today, 100%. Now let's just continue with the next portion. So then Martin Ødegaard scores the goal in the 14th minute, right? We got to talk about Martin Ødegaard now. Martin Ødegaard, guys, he is balling. Now, we got to give Martin Ødegaard, Captain Fantastic, we got to give him some credit. We got to give him some credit, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like, is it crazy to say Martin Ødegaard, our captain, one of our best players, a player who is having a fantastic season, at times gets called overrated, gets overly criticized and overly hated on by rivals, and then our own fans start to suck up to it and start to take it in as their own narrative also. Martin Ødegaard, we need to stop dissing him. The guy has been outstanding this season. Yes, people have bad games, but today was not one of those games. He has now had 4 goals in the last 5 games. Martin Ødegaard has been absolutely fantastic. 15 goals this season. The man deserves a lot of respect from rivals and our own fans, because at times I see our own fans are the first people to get onto his back and criticize him, and it's just unwarranted in my opinion and completely uncalled for. So yeah, that is Martin Ødegaard breaking the duck there, and we had to stay lucky, stay resolute for the remainder of that half. I'm gonna get to you in a second, my guy. Please let me just finish this off. And then after that, you had Martinelli had a chance in the 22nd minute. Ødegaard, we were on top of them. We had chance after chance, and then Willock had a good chance in the 27th minute. It was just a straightforward save. Martinelli 1-on-1 could have ended the game. Bukayo Saka 1-on-1 could have ended the game. On the other end, the ball kept hitting the posts. It was a pinball basketball game, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We got into the halftime with the 1-goal lead, and I was very relieved because I thought for sure they were gonna get a goal. But Martin Ødegaard, 50th minute after 7 minutes extra time, I swear to God, guys, he could have ended the game by halftime, but no, we straight at the keeper. Didn't go in, and it was what it was. Then second half begins. Second half, we had a poor beginning to the second half. And then something changed, something clicked. You know what it was? It was the physicality that we had to show in this game. The physicality we showed in this game was outstanding. I loved it. I thought the physicality that we showed in this game came from a lot of people, but the number one guy it came from for me was Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka showed these guys that we were up for the physical battle. We were ready to compete with these guys. And it was not a situation where the boys were going to die away and be soft. We were not soft today. We were up for it. We were ready. We were hungry. And that is exactly why we kept ourselves in this game. That's exactly why we kept doing what we were doing. And it was amazing to see, right? Granit Xhaka had a great performance. But now let me just end it off. Fabian Schär gets his goal. Own goal for us after Martinelli does his thing. Then the rest is history. I just want to give a quick shout out to Ramsdale also, because I feel like it didn't shout him out enough. Jorginho's masterclass. We're going to get into it. But yeah, That was my match reaction. Let me know what you guys thought, guys, in the comment section. And if you disagree or agree with any of my points, let me know right now. But yeah, Gunnar Souls, take it away, my guy.
Yeah, this is the kind of response we wanted to see from the team, and especially from Arteta. The Chelsea game, I didn't put too much emphasis on it. I know people are going to say it's a London derby, it's a different form, can go out the window and stuff, but we know how poor Chelsea have been, and that was a pretty much, we had to win. There was no losing in the equation. Whereas within this game, I'm not like, I was fairly confident. I actually said we're definitely beating Newcastle. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to beat them. But there's always going to be that element that Newcastle are no bums. We've seen them destroy Spurs 6-1. We've seen them beat Wolves, 5-0, 6-0. Recently they have been on high scoring form and they have been putting teams away. So there's always the possibility that this could have been like a 4-3, a 5-4, anything like that could have happened. Or they could have blown us out the water. There's every possibility either scenario happens. This isn't a rollover game, and we made it look like, yeah, we're the title challengers and they're fighting for top 4. We actually showed the levels to this game, and that's what we want to see. Now, I didn't want a total capitulation and we start losing games and we start throwing points away. I want to keep the pressure on Man City, just in case. You never know in football, anything can happen. They could go to Everton and lose. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm just saying there's always a possibility. Something happens. It's football. And we've just got to be there to be able to pounce, at least give ourselves the opportunity to pounce on that. And that's what we've done today. Newcastle was one of the games a lot of people wrote off, not the 4 drop points, but this was definitely one of the ones where we were like, we could draw, we could lose, we could win, but it could be the one that could decide the title. And we went there. We went to St. James Park. By the way, a St. James Park that was rocking as well. It wasn't like they didn't try and make it hostile. We could hear it on the TV. It was loud. And we went there. We didn't get bullied by the fans or the pressure of St. James Park. We didn't get bullied by the nuisance that Newcastle were causing. We actually gave it back to them, and we kept our cool. Granit Xhaka last season gets a red card in this game, but Granit Xhaka this season kept his head and said, you know what, he gave it back to them, but enough to not get booked. And I think that's the proudest thing of him, is his evolution this season was epitomized in this game. Shaw was trying to get in his head, Trippier was trying to get in his head, Bruno Guimaraes was trying to get in his head, but he kept his cool. And that's something which we've not seen him do. And this season, well, touch wood and all that, but hopefully he doesn't get a red card, and that'd be the perfect season he could have had. Some of the defending that he was doing as well, I think it was Joe Willock was thrown through and he slid in at the perfect time at the beginning of the game as well. He slid in with Joe Linton, that opportunity, he slid in at the right time, didn't give a penalty away in both situations. And even when you look at his overall control and passing and contribution to the attack, brilliant today. And the one thing that I do want to say, and I said this, but we'll get on to Jorginho properly, but I want to mention Odegaard. And I kept saying to people, this isn't his final form. This isn't Odegaard's perfect form. There is so much more we're going to see from this guy. This is a glimpse of how good he can be. And I've said it, this is like level 1 or 2 out of level 5 or 6 that he can reach. There's so much more he's going to offer. There's so many more levels he can unlock. Now, that's not me criticizing him, but that's me saying we've got a truly special talent in our hands. And at the age of 23, 24, he's captaining an Arsenal side after 2 decades to potentially win a league title. And not one of those ones where, oh, yeah, we gave it a good shot. No, we are actually competing for the title. We've competed with the title all season. And that deserves a massive credit. When the team was called upon him, 2 goals against Chelsea, what we've got to understand, that's 22 goal contributions in the league alone. That's 15 goals and 7 assists. And he's got one of the best creative numbers in the league. We ask for people, we need goal from midfield. The guy's providing. He's one of our top goal scorers, if not the top goal scorer of the league. He's the highest chance creator, and he's got 7 assists, 3 more, and he becomes the 2nd or 3rd player to become double goal and double assist. That deserves immense credit, and I don't think people credit him enough. And then you go on to Ramsdale and Kiwior. Like I said, we'll talk about Jorginho separately, but Ramsdale deserves huge credit because there's so many people saying we can improve. If we go with Ramsdale to the Champions League, we're going to get turned over. If we go into the, further and we want to compete for the title, Ramsdale's not the keeper. But the man's consistently, even in the drop-off, saved us. Against Liverpool, we could have lost that game without him. We could have got even more humiliated by Man City if it wasn't for Ramsdale. And if it wasn't for Ramsdale today, we don't win 2-0. That game could have been 4-2, 5-2 to Newcastle. Granted, we had opportunities we could have taken, but if you're looking at the chances that Newcastle got, that Ramsdale saved us in, it deserves huge credit. And the guys got the big game mentality, and that's what we're missing. And then Kiwior, like I've said multiple occasions, when I seen him against Sporting Lisbon, I know it's harsh to judge someone on their first game, and especially in a game of that magnitude, he didn't look good. But since that game, he's starting to show why Arteta or Edu or Richard have brought this man in, especially in January when we're competing for the title. You know, his ability to just, you know what the most important thing is? The team trusts him. Because when you look at Holding and you look at this game, we look a lot calmer, we look a lot more in control. And that to me is the key. And this is why I kept saying to people, look, you can say Rob Holding's not made a fault, but the issue with Rob Holding is he's not an outlet. He's not someone we can pass the ball to and go, yeah, I believe you can do something with this. Kiwior, we pass the ball to him and we trust him to not mess it up. And we can actually use him as an outlet. When Gabriel's under pressure, he will find Kiwior. If Zinchenko's under pressure, he will find Kiwior. Ben White will find Kiwior. Whereas with Holding, it's quite the opposite. When we're under pressure, we'd rather not give it to Holding. And that's why I talk about the comparison and why I say we need to upgrade that level.
Let's get it. We've both kind of touched on everything we needed to touch on when it comes to the match reaction and just kind of like getting into all the details. But now let's actually deep dive into the 5 points. I'm going to add people, and I'm going to put the link out there for people to jump on very soon. But before we do that, I just wanted to touch on 5 key talking points before we go any further. And there's so many key talking points that we can get into, right? But what is the standout talking point? Everyone in the chat, let me know, what is the standout thing? Because there's Jorginho, there's Xhaka, there's the defense keeping a clean sheet. There's so many things, but I think Jorginho is the main talking point starting off. Would you say Ramsdale or would you say Jorginho? What do you think the main talking point is?
That's the reason I didn't mention Jorginho, because I think he deserves his own kind of segment,
his own section, right? So yeah, this is gonna be the 5 talking points from the 5 talking points and things that we've learned from St. James's Park, guys. Because in my opinion, I think we've learned a lot today. I think there's a lot to learn. And everyone asking the link, I'm going to put the link in the chat, but I'm not going to add you right away. Once we've done the 5 talking points, then I'm going to add you, my friends. Okay? So yeah, 5 talking points, bro. Let's just keep it simple. We're gonna start with the first talking point. 17 minutes in, Jorginho is the first talking point. He had an absolute masterclass. Jorginho had an absolute masterclass. Led the team. I think there was a stat that went out after the game, during the game. He led the team in touches. He got an assist. He was successful with the most passes. He received the most passes from the back line. He won the most possessions 8 times, and he had 3 clearances. That right there is a masterclass performance if I've ever seen one. And we first have to thank Chelsea. Big up Chelsea for giving us Jorginho, because what he did today, amazing. And I think he's displaced Partey from the team for now. I know it's crazy to think, but he's taken Partey's place in the starting 11, and there's deservedly so. Look at that. Just look at that. Like that right there is what we need from Jorginho. And maybe we can look back, revisionist history, and say you should have taken out Partey earlier. But you know, the funny thing is, we did say that. We did ask for Jorginho earlier. We did ask for Jorginho to come into this team earlier. But today is Jorginho's day. Today, Jorginho had a masterclass, and I think we got to talk about it. Today, we're talking about Jorginho, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't like Jorginho, you're going to have to like him, because he's starting to become a little bit more likable for us as an Arsenal fan. But yeah, talk to me, Souls. What are you saying?
Do you know what it is? Like, I was against the signing when he first came in. I understood why we were doing it, but I just was like, it kind of completely goes against what we're trying to build here. But when we had him, I've been calling for him now. It's not about using one player to bash another. There's scenarios and situations where certain player profiles work better. And a lot of people, I said this before the game, Jorginho is going to be the reason why we win this game. And a lot of people, some agreed, some were like, meh, we'll see. And a lot of people were like, nah, he's going to get run all over. This is going to be a disaster class from him. And the reason why I keep putting credit on him, Yes, he's not physical or like a beast like Partey, but what he is a very, very, and I mean stupidly clever player. His footballing IQ is up there among some of the smartest people who have played this game. And I'll tell you why as well. If you look at the way he is, it's like he knows the pass is going to be made. He intercepts the pass before it's made. It's like he's mind reading every single player. And he's like, I know where you're making this pass and I'm going to be there to intercept it. Every time I watch this guy, he's just in the right place at the right time, making the right calls. And what he also offers is calmness. And this is the other thing I said about Kiwior, and I'm going to attribute to Jorginho, is the calmness this team has when he's in it. When you look at kind of our build-up, when you look at certain situations, look at the Odegaard goal was a perfect scenario. He moves into the right positions to play the ball. He is the epitome of a player you need to play total football. And that's the reason why I give him massive, massive props. Every game he comes into, regardless of anything, one thing you know when he's playing is you're going to control that game. And and I've said it again, he is the sole reason, or one of the, I'd say about 80% of this win is attributed to what Jorginho did and deserves massive credit. And you know what? For £12 million, it's a bargain.
Yeah. Once again, just showing Jorginho here. Big up to everyone watching and listening right now. Make sure you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And of course, if you're listening to Apple, Spotify, or podcast, make sure you do hit that like there too. Now, let me just shift away a second before we go any further. This is the stats that I was showing you guys earlier of Jorginho, by the way, where he's a number one in almost everything in the team. Now, quickly going over to the next player, I think we could talk about Ramsdale. We could talk about everything else, but I just want to give a special shout out to the captain, Martin Ødegaard, because I think we can speak about Martin Ødegaard glowingly all season, and this might be a quick one, but his his goal tally this season has been impressive. I just want to give him a quick shout out. I think he's an honorable mention, but he's not going to be the 5 things that we talk about because there's been so many other things to talk about in this game, right? The next person I want to talk about is Aaron Ramsdale. I think Aaron Ramsdale deserves a special shout out. Aaron Ramsdale, I feel like he gets over criticized by a lot of the Arsenal fan base. He gets over criticized by a lot of people, and today's performance, Aaron Ramsdale, touche, hats off to him. He was fantastic. He put in a great shift. He put in a great performance, and save after save after save that he made today. I'm just going to show you guys some of the saves and put it on the screen for everyone to see. He was a monster in that goal, and nothing was going to get past him. You can see here, he was just making save after save after save, and there were moments where people question his physicality in the box. He was showing that today. People question if he can stop shots. He was stopping shots today. People are asking all these things about Ramsdale. He was answering the call today, and that is why I think he deserves a special mention. And he's number 2 on the things that we speak about today. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, obviously, we've seen the EA or FIFA, whatever you guys like, the ultimate team of the season for the Premier League. Now, obviously, that's fan voted. That might not be the official one. I don't really know how it works, but a lot of people are questioning Ramsdale being in that team. And this season, he has been the best keeper in the league. And this game kind of epitomizes why a lot of Arsenal fans have put him in that category, why people have said he's better than Alisson this season. It doesn't mean his overall career. It doesn't mean everything he does is better than that player. But this season alone, I don't think there's a goalkeeper that even comes close to Ramsdale in terms of winning points, in terms of keeping a team in the game. But also, like, when you look at his distribution and the ability to springboard attacks, he's been vital. Even in the Odegaard build-up, he was vital for that. Like, the calmness and the ability to just quickly play these games. And also, one thing he's done recently, which I quite like, is he's mixed it up. I don't know if that's an instruction or whether that's a thing he's doing. In this game, he went long a lot. He went over the top. He went to the attackers directly rather than always going for centre-backs. And he's also, 23, 24? And if he's playing at this level, he's only going to get better. It's not a position that I'm worried about, and I think people need to stop. I don't understand when he makes one mistake how hyper critical people become of him. I think he's been immense. He's been the best keeper. I'm proud to have him. He's one of my undroppables. He's one of my we don't even need to look at a goalkeeper. Maybe Matt Turner if people really want to improve the second keeper, whatever. But we've probably got one of the best European combination of keepers I've seen this season.
You know what? That was an amazing performance from him, and we just got to give him a lot of credit overall. And then just keep it moving from there. Now, Arsenal just tweeted this also. Let's talk about this. The physical battle that we just had today, because we won the physical battle. We were outclassing them with our ability, and then at moments showing them our physicality also. And I felt like Granit Xhaka was a big part to play in the physical battle. I felt like the performance the whole team put in was because of the fact that they were ready for the physical battle. They were ready for that physical battle from minute one. And I'm just going to take Ramsdale off here, and I'm going to show you guys the players, because I felt like players were getting sucker punch, players were getting hit, players were getting taken out. And you know what we said? We said we're ready. We go again. We go again. We go again. We go again. And we didn't give up. And I felt like Granit Xhaka deserves a lot of credit for that, because I felt like he was the antithesis of who was prepared for that physical battle. He was the one that was putting his life on the line, putting his body on the line every single minute of the game. It felt like Granit Xhaka was one of the key parts in stopping a moment. And anytime that somebody got in somebody's face, he was one of the first people to get up there and get back in his face. Somebody elbow somebody, he says, "Watch yourself. I'm on to you." And Newcastle are probably the most physical team in the Premier League, and we weathered the storm away from home at St. James's Park. People call Arsenal soft. People call Arsenal get bullied often. Not today. Jorginho and Xhaka were key in ensuring that physical battle was won, and it was won today. And no one can deny that. We made Newcastle look soft today. We made Newcastle look like they were the ones that couldn't handle us, because as much as they were hitting us, we weren't complaining. We kept it moving. And the referee, the way that he was playing, Chris Kavanagh, made it that way. He made it that way. And that's why the next thing we talk about is us winning the physical battle. Talk to me, bro.
100%. I mean, he was leading pretty much every facet of the game in terms of attacking, defensive work. Like I said, he had goal line clearances, like pretty much guaranteed goals he was tackling, and didn't give a penalty away, didn't get booked, didn't let Trippier, Shaw, and the likes, even Joe Linton at some points, Bruno Guimaraes, get to his head.
Don't forget Xavier.
And one of the biggest things about his performance in terms of Xhaka is he didn't get a red card. This is the prime game in terms of how physical it was and how Newcastle tried to get into our heads. Last season or any other season, Xhaka gets a red card in this game.
Facts.
But he didn't get a red card.
Today.
He was cool. He did what he needed to do. That's what I will say about that. In terms of, he did enough in terms of getting into their heads, going up to their face, but not engaging. He made sure they knew you can't bully us. He make sure that you can't just roll us over, but he didn't get physical and grab them or push them or any of that.
That's why this is the thumbnail. That's why this picture is the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, because you look back at that game, first thing you think about is, hey, we did it. We're not here to play. And Xhaka was unreal. People in the comment section all agreeing Xhaka was unreal. Another man of the match candidate today, 110%. Mm-hmm. Now, before we bring Ben on, I'm just going to quickly touch on the final 2 points. The final 2 points of us potentially still doing what we're doing, but one of the main things is the points tally that we're on, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot take this for granted. The points tally that we're on this season is absolutely amazing. We are currently on 81 points. Some of you guys have never seen Arsenal touch 80 points in your lifetime. We currently have 81 points. That is an impressive points tally. And as much as if we don't win the league, everyone's going to be upset, this season we deserve a lot of credit. We've done a lot of damage to this Premier League, and people need to respect that. Rivals can make fun of it. People can make fun of it as much as they want, but we're making our point. We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're doing this the way we should be doing it, by going away from home and putting these performances and keeping clean sheets. Guess what? We don't keep a lot of clean sheets at home, but away from home, we're doing damage. And I think this season, even if we don't win, hitting the 80 points mark is impressive. I want to get the 90 mark, win the rest of our games, get the 90 mark. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. I thought that was an impressive thing. And you know where the last point is going to go. I don't know if you want to say anything, but.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if we can get 90 points and we can see glaring issues with this squad, I'm talking squad, not 11, just before people jump on me on that. And we know there's quality that can be improved. That's scary because this isn't the complete Arsenal like some people think. You know, we still need to improve the levels in certain positions. We still need to get in players who are going to improve the depth of the squad. Like, we've seen some rotation and it's been a bit underwhelming. But once we kind of go into this summer, identify those issues and bring them in. If we can get 90 points with an incomplete team, imagine what we can do when we reinforce this summer and go again.
You know what? I could talk about the defenders. I could talk about everyone. But I think we've already spoke about Cavior enough on the previous stream. I think we've already spoken about Gabriel's defensive performances so many times this season. I'm just going to talk about this right here. The title race. The title race is still on, guys. As much as it seems difficult for us to get it, in the back of these players' minds, in the media, they're going to speak about it as if the title race is still on. And that's just the reality. I know Manchester United right now is halftime. They're 1-0 down, but forget about that for a second. It's not over. The title race is not over. As much as we say it's over because Man City is amazing, the title race is not over. The title race is not over. And I don't know what you're doing, but please stop. Stop what you're doing. Listen. Sorry about that. What do you call it? When it comes to the title race, do you think it's over, bro?
No, because I mean, look at who Man City have to play. They got to play Brighton or Everton next week, Brighton and Brentford, and in between that they've got Real Madrid as well. So they can't rotate in any of these games. So they might be playing they're starting 11 3 games in a row in a week. So it's not over. I mean, it's literally a loss and it's ours, and we can pounce on that opportunity. The only thing is we need to make sure we're there to pounce when the opportunities present themselves. And we know Brighton are a good side. They've pretty much beaten every team in the league this season. We know Brentford have always done a job on Man City. We know they can get a draw out of them. So it's not over till it's over. It's definitely a lot more, I'm not as hopeful, but there's always that glimmer of hope, and I want us to go for the 90 points and give ourselves the best opportunity in case Man City do drop points. Go for it, Ben.
Go ahead, Ben.
Hi. That was good. That was. I tell you what, the first until we scored that goal, I kept hiding behind the sofa. I'll tell you a lot. It was quite scary that first off. I think it was that game. It was whoever scored the first goal was going to go on and win, because it could have been either one of us in that first one. I think we battled quite hard. I think in the past we'd have folded on that one. I've seen us fold on that one. I've seen defenders make mistakes in the past, and that's it. The whole game they've just gone right into the middle, and that's it. I tell you one thing that this team doesn't do: they make a mistake and they just carry on. They forget about that mistake and just learn from it in the game, and that's what we've done in the past. Jorginho, oh my days, that lad! I tell you what, that it weren't a good. That was a steal off of Chelsea. I don't know what Chelsea were doing getting rid of him, because the dark arts, he is that. I'm not saying he's world class, but his dark arts is world class. I've watched those play Chelsea in the past, and him do them dark arts before to us, and I've got so frustrated, and it's so good to see it on our side for once. Man, all good teams have that in. We've not had that for so long. The dark arts, Man City have got that. Rodri's a master of it, and we've got it. And he was going down injured. He weren't injured. In fact, another one that's good at Ramsdale as well towards the end when he was the foul. he did the save, and then when he was down on the floor, and then when the referee blew his whistle for the foul, he pretended to have an injury. Did you not notice that? I thought I was quite crafty that one. He just waited till the whistle went until he went for the he knew the foul was there. But yeah, I think this game was so important to win as well, not just for the title, which I think we can still win. I still think we can go on and win the title. I think City's away games are going to be so difficult. Are going to be difficult games. They've both got Brighton and Brentford, and not many teams go to their grounds and win. I've still got a sneaky suspicion that Chelsea are going to do something against them. I know how poor they've been, but stranger things have happened, and maybe they want to go out on a high. And there's going to be a lot of their players are going to want to stay there for next season, and they want to, not.
You think we can win the remaining games that we have?
Yeah, well, we've got to. There's no point. And I think the other important thing about winning Newcastle as well is because when we go into the summer, we're going to be at competition with Newcastle for the players. They're going to be, we could be going in for a player that they're going to be going for, and they've got the money to. And I think us beating them, if they'd have beaten us today, they could have gone to the players that we're going for and go, look, we may not have the name of Arsenal, but look, we've got the money, we've got the ambition, and look what we've just done to them at the end of the season. What we've done is just slap them back down a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what we need. I just want to say, 1 second, Skills. It was in the chat saying we should look at the remaining games. I don't see a loss there. Brighton at home, we should win. Nottingham Forest away, we should win. Wolves at home, we should win. The problem we have is we're going up against a juggernaut in Manchester City. And look at what they have. They still have Real Madrid. Then they go to Everton. Then they have Real Madrid again. Then they face Chelsea. We need them to lose 2 games. Do you see 2 losses from their remaining 4 games? No, 5 games. I don't see 2 losses. I honestly don't see 2 losses. There's 4 games left. What's the chance of them losing 2 games? Impossible.
The hope comes from, if you look at Goodison Park last season, it was 1-1, and Everton should have won last minute on a penalty, which was handball on Rodri, which for some reason VAR didn't give. So that could be another situation where Dyche does do one over Pep. Now, a lot of this is hope, by the way. I'm not saying this is factually going to happen. Then you look at the 2 games in between. You've got to look at, they've got to play Real Madrid, then go to Everton, play a full strength squad. Then they've got Real Madrid again. They've got to play a full squad. Then on the weekend, they've got to play Chelsea. Again, you can't rest players in that game. Then literally a couple of days later, they've got to play Brighton at the Amex. Now, we know Brighton at Amex has been a solid opposition that can get a draw out of that. When you then look at the community centre for Brentford, they've done a job at them. They've beaten them as well, 1-0 last season. I think they beat them earlier this season as well. At the Etihad 1-0. So why can't Brentford do it? A lot of this is going to be hope and just looking at what past results have been. But even when you look at that, Man City did overturn and get 6 points out of Crystal Palace where they couldn't register a goal last season. So it's going to be tough, but who knows, man? Crazy things happen in football. Sometimes, you have those bogey stadiums, and some of these games are their bogey teams. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think what we've done is we've dropped the ball. We know we've dropped the ball a bit, but what we've done is saying, City, if you're going to win this, you're going to have to be perfect, and they've got to be perfect. And it might not be that they lose; they might draw more. They could draw the next few games as well. A draw. I know. Obviously, they've got the goal difference, but they could draw at Everton. They could draw at Everton. They could draw at with Brighton. They could draw all the next few games. It's not necessarily that they win or lose.
You know what?
But they're perfect.
That's a fair point. And I just want a quick shout out to the away fans, ladies and gentlemen. Arsenal's away fans put in a shit. Look at this. They put in a shift, guys. These guys traveled all the way from London to Newcastle.
Bro, they don't lie. They actually do sit in the skies. Flipping
they
out.
are.
I didn't know
look at that view. Look at that view.
Have you ever actually been to the stadium? I've been to it before. Not to an Arsenal game. a championship game there in the away game, and it is an impressive stadium, and they are loud, and they
put you in the roof
pitch or anything like that. You know, it's a difficult one to play at their ground, even in the past when they weren't that good. So
you know what, Arsenal's away fans have been amazing this season, and they're always amazing. So we just got to give a quick shout out to the Arsenal away fans before we do the player ratings. Big up Ben for jumping on. It's going to be a quick one, but yeah, shout out to you. Make sure, guys, you do hit that goddamn like button if you're on YouTube. And let me just look at some of these comments as I bring in Mohamed in the chat. The race, you're racing up against the Sharks. I know we're going up against the Sharks. Let's go, Arsenal. Come on. Hope we can do it. I hope we can do it. Brentford Everton is the game. Hopefully. Everyone forget about Chelsea. They can beat City. Chelsea can't beat City, bro. Come on. Are we being delusional here?
It would be crazy if they did.
It would be crazy if Chelsea helped us win the league title. Big up, real ones. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone. Mohamed, hope you're well. Hopefully your audio is crisp.
Hazard.
Talk to me, bro. What are you saying?
Hi guys. Hi Egal.
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing? Talk to me about the game.
Fantastic evening. Great win. For me, Egal, the sweetest win in the league. I'm super happy to beat this dirty, difficult, tough Newcastle side at their stadium. We still remember last year, they battered us. Our Champions League hope was gone against Newcastle. And this year, we drew 0-0 at the Emirates. And we had a late penalty call, which didn't go to us. We deserved a penalty late on. So Newcastle going into today's match, they didn't lose just once. They lost one game at home during all season, and they are the perfect defensive side of the league, the best defensive side of the league. So tough side, dirty side, too physical. They can play long balls and they can play short. They had very good players. Any referee today, not Chris Kavanagh, at least will book 10 of their players. Every mutual challenge, every Newcastle player kicked an Arsenal player deliberately after he passes or after he shoots. Burn, Guimaraes, Joelinton, elbow many times, and Chris Kavanagh is not here. He didn't show his cards. So for me, sweet win, fantastic one to go at Newcastle Stadium and to be like we showed today, determined, fighting spirit. We went toe-to-toe with them physically. Some fantastic performance today. Ramsdale, many good saves. Two center halves, White, of course, Jorginho, Odegaard, and Arteta today learned from his mistakes, which we talked about many times. We returned to West Ham match and to Liverpool match, where we were calling Tierney to be in for Zinchenko early. Today, he got it right, spot on, because Tierney entered the match at 60 minutes. And in the decisive moment to close this area, because Zinchenko was suffering against Murphy many times. So Tierney also in the last 30 minutes did a fantastic defensive job, helping Gabriel, closing this side, which was an worry for us. And overall, for me, okay, I was like all Arsenal fans, sad, frustrated, because City, it seems that they will win the title. But for me, I was lifted up today by this win, by this performance. And again, this Newcastle side, this physical, tough side at their stadium. The only regret during all the match that I was worried and on my knees and very nervy that after scoring the first goal, we must score the second goal. We had many great chances, one-on-one with the keeper, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, then Martinelli in the second half. So for me, the win was not assured until we scored the second goal.
Fair enough, bro. Mohamed, big up to you, bro. Really do appreciate it. Honestly, every time you come on, just speaks a lot of sense and telling everyone in the chat agrees with you also. Shout out to you, bro. I'm just going to end it off with the player ratings and then wrap up the show. Big up, man. And everyone, most of the people right now are watching the Man United game. I think the score is 1-0 Man United. Am I wrong? It's crazy.
Yeah, still 1-0.
1-0. No, 1-0 West Ham, actually. Right?
Yeah. Still Benrahma. It could have been 2-0 disallowed, I think, for a foul on Casemiro. But yeah, West Ham are doing a bits right now.
Let's get into the Arsenal player ratings, ladies and gentlemen. And I think this is a player ratings where we're going to be very happy. A lot of people are going to be happy. A lot of people deserve a lot of credit. Some of these guys have had absolute masterclass performances today, and I think we should give them a lot of their credit that they deserve. So we're going to start with Ramsdale, and the way that we do it is as we go down, you guys are going to give us your player ratings also. So let's get into the player ratings, ladies and gentlemen. 45 minutes into the show, of course. Now, Aaron Ramsdale, amazing performance, a lot of saves. I think he deserves a 9. What are you saying?
Isn't that a bit high to go straight in with?
He deserves it, bro.
True.
He kept a clean
I would have
sheet
gone
away
8
from
just
home at
to
Newcastle.
give a bit of room.
He kept a clean sheet away from home at Newcastle against a team that is one of the toughest teams to go up against away from home.
That's fair.
I think he deserves all the credit in the world. Don't you?
Well, I think he does, but I'm just saying it more to see how the player ratings go. But yeah, no, I agree with like an 8.5 or a 9 would.
8.5.
Yeah, just because we can't give a 10, so then it becomes a tied man of the matches for everyone. So it's the only reason I'm saying it.
Okay, so you want to give him an 8?
Unless he's your man of the match, are we giving a 10 this game?
Who is your man of the match?
Or we got a Jorginho?
Yeah, same. So fair enough. We maybe lower it down to 8.5.
Yeah.
Lower it down to 8.5. Let's see what the people in the chat think. People saying 8.5, 9, true. Okay. I thought he definitely deserved a special shout out today. Had a really good performance. 8.5 is a fair enough thing for him. Ben White. Is it me or Ben White just has good games and you never really notice unless he has a bad one?
Yeah, because he just does his thing, doesn't he? It's like
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
No question. KVR, 7.5. Good game.
Right, even an 8.
Really commanding performance.
Yeah. I'd say like 7.5 or an 8 could do as well. Yeah.
8 for KVR? People, give me your Ben White and KVR ratings. I kind of went too quick on the Ben White one. Give me your Ben White and KVR ratings. I think KVR, what a performance for him today. Let me know what you guys thought about his performance and also Ben White. I think Ben White, we already know Ben White. We understand how good he is, and we're probably going to give him similar ratings most games when he performs. But today, I think the guy who definitely deserves a lot of credit and a shout out is KVR. And yeah, I was going to give him a 7.5, but an 8 is just as good. And I think he deserved that also. So we're going to give him an 8?
Yeah, I agree.
People in the chat, you guys let me know if you guys agree or not. And if you're listening at home or you're watching on the playback, please do let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, let's see. What are they saying? 7 for Ben White, 7 for Ben White. 8 out of play. He was right. KVR gets a 7.5. Gabriel Magalhaes. What about Magalhaes, his teammate? His teammate was
7.5, 7. I think it was kind of a what you expect from him kind of performance.
I think I'm an idiot for putting him on my bench for my fantasy team. 7.5. 7.5.
Yeah, I mean it was just what you expect. I don't think he did anything outstanding, but he didn't obviously make any mistakes. It was just like Ben White, he did his job.
So we're just gonna kind of glance by it and just keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
I thought the next guy that we're going to talk about is going to be a little bit of a tricky one in Zinchenko. There's going to be a lot of conversations about Zinchenko, and some of them people are going to get a little bit cagey over Zinchenko because his performances as of late have not been so good. But yeah, 8 for Gabriel Magalhaes. Let's see what the people in the comments say. 7.5, 7.5, 8. 7.5 is fair. Zinchenko, I'm going to start the bidding for Zinchenko at a 5. He was good at points. He was bad at other points. Didn't deserve, actually doesn't deserve a 5. I'll give him a 5.5. A lot of people are going to be extremely harsh on him, but we did keep a clean sheet. Even though he made mistakes, it didn't lead to a goal. And overall, we kept a clean sheet away from home in a game where he started at left back. He did get subbed off, and we kept a clean sheet. Yes, he was beaten a couple times. Yes, he did bad sometimes, but he also did do a good job on some of the early shots that they had and the pressure they were under at the beginning. A lot of their attack came from his side, so it made it look like we were playing a lot worse. But I think it's by design. I'm not going to completely say Zinchenko at fault for everything, but we do need to probably give Kieran Tierney some run for the remaining games of the season. But Zinchenko is the system, and he played well at times, but at times he also got beat. So overall, it's an average game, 5.5.
Yeah, but he's the reason we went 1-0 up. So
yeah, I'm giving him credit, but
I think 5.5 is very harsh. I think at least 6 or 6.5 is like
6.5, 6. Okay, I think maybe I am going too hard on him.
But you also got to understand what I know. People say he's a left back, but we don't really play with a left back.
I'll give him a 6. He was better defensively today because he had to be. He couldn't be. His focus today was to be a little bit more defensive because they were attacking a lot from his side. Zinchenko had to be perfect at times. He couldn't make too many mistakes. He had to be near perfection at times. That's the reality.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he is the system. Now, if we played with Tierney, who knows what would have happened? I mean, it's always going to be one of those in hindsight kind of things. But Zinchenko is vital to the way we build up, and a lot of the chances we created is because of Zinchenko as well. So that's the reason why I think it's a bit harsh to.
You know what?
Even on the thing we know harsh. He's bad at.
I'll just raise it up to 6.5. We'll end up with a 6.5. I guess we'll leave it there. Cool. Everyone's cool with that. Yeah. High risk, high reward with Zinchenko, but we know what we get. Jorginho, man of the match performance. I said it early on the show. Definitely deserves a high rating. So since we gave Sting a high rating, we're going to give him a 9. The reason why they're getting high ratings is because, bro, that was one of the best away from home performances we've seen in a long time. And to keep a clean sheet also in a game with no Thomas Partey, Jorginho could easily be taking Partey's spot for the remainder of the season. And I wouldn't even blink an eye. I don't know about you.
And I think until Jorginho doesn't have a bad game, you can't really drop him. Like, I don't know what. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, at least this season anyway, for Partey to get back into this team. And we've seen it today, like a 9 today. Even last week was like an 8. So if you're dropping performances like that, you can't be subbed out. It's too risky to sub you out now. So yeah, I think a 9, definitely my man of the match anyway. But yeah, led by example today.
Yeah, led by example, and the physical battle, he was up for it. He was ready. He was on his job today. So you got to give it up to him. And next, we've already spoken about Granit Xhaka. But before we go, let me just see what the people in the comment section have to say about Jorginho. People are going to give him a 9, of course, 9.5 man of the match. Jorginho would see Partey. I want to see Jorginho and Partey together. I agree with you. That is a good shout. Definitely want to see that happen. Granit Xhaka, what are we saying? Granit Xhaka.
Same as Ramsdale, because he's a man of the match candidate and not the man of the match. Unless you want to give it man of the match, I'd say 8.5.
8.5.
Even though, yeah, because I mean, man of the match has to have his own rating. It can't be the same rating as other players, in my opinion.
I thought Granit Xhaka was good. Definitely would be willing to give him 8.5. What did we give to Ramsdale? We gave Ramsdale 8.5. Yeah. So if we're giving Ramsdale 8.5, I'm down to give him an 8.5 also. But that means we're also going to give Odegaard 8.5.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unless your man of the match is Odegaard, I think that's.
I think they're all amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about man of the match at the end. But yeah, Martin Ødegaard also gets an 8.5. Guys, let me know what you guys give to Xhaka and Martin Ødegaard. I thought they were both outstanding today. I thought they both deserved a whole heap of praise. And I just feel like this whole team is just playing so well right now. Everybody deserves a shout out.
100%. I mean, even with Odegaard, like dictating play, this is more of the performances people expect to see. even people like some of the group chats I was in, they were like, Odegaard reminds them of like Modric today. And I could see the not in terms of he's as good, but in terms of the way he was moving with the ball, his slickness, the way he was just moving and passing. He's definitely. You know what the best thing about him is? When you give him the license to shoot, you can see how much better he is. Because what happens is defenders don't know what to expect. What Odegaard became was too predictable, and everyone in the Premier League knew he was going to pass, and they were cutting all the passing lanes. And Odegaard was still trying to make the pass. But now that he's scoring and he's shooting, defenders are confused to whether to block the passing lane or to block the shot. And that's what happened in the first instance with his goal today. The Newcastle defenders didn't know what he was going to do because he never shoots from there, or he hasn't been consistently shooting from that position. And that's the reason he got his goal. He needs to continue doing it.
You know what? It is what it is. People in the chat, Bruno Guimaraes, he was just leaving. He was trying to injure people out there.
Mm-hmm.
He was moving mad. People in the chat. Bukayo Saka. I don't know. Give him the same as Zinchenko, 6.5.
I'd give him a 7. Reason being is, like, yes.
What are we giving to Bukayo Saka, people? Let me know. I don't know what to rate.
The reason why I say that is I know it's underwhelming for Saka, like from the standards we have for him. But what you've also got to understand, there's nuances in football as well. He does drag players out. It's a bit like the Jack Grealish effect. Jack Grealish might not be the guy that does everything with the GA, get the goal, gets the assist. But what Saka does do is draw players out of position. And every single time you see him play, he's drawing 2, maybe 3 players out of position, which gives Odegaard the positions he gets into. It gives Gabriel Jesus the freedom he has. And also defensively, I think Saka did cover really well today. And that's the only reason I'll give him a 7 and not maybe as low as Zinchenko.
Fair enough. People saying 7, 6, 7. Honestly, sometimes I don't even know what to rate these guys because it's not like they had a bad performance, but you can't. But when Bukayo Saka's quiet, you kind of just say to yourself, he's had a bad game. But really, he didn't do anything wrong. It's just... Yeah, so 7 is fair. People in the comment section even agree, saying 7 from John here. People asking where Hamza is. Hamza's going to be on later today for Vibes from the 6, so make sure you check that out. Martinelli, I thought Martinelli is an 8 or a 7.5 based on the ratings that we're
8
giving.
or 8.5. I'd go the other way around.
8.5. I don't think he's up there. I think 8 is fair. This one I'm gonna have to overrule you because I don't think he's as good as Xhaka.
I don't think it's 7.5
or
anywhere
there.
8 or 8.5 in my opinion.
Yeah, 8 is fine. I think once we go 8.5, we go into the Xhaka realm. You know what I mean?
The only reason I do that is because, yes, he should have scored before he did get the goal or the deflected goal. But in my opinion, anyway, I think he was a constant threat every time we were looking for an outlet. He was that. I understand why people want to give him lower because the one-on-one chance he missed when Odegaard made that sort of reverse pass and he just shot first time, he could have maybe played that in. There were opportunities where he made the wrong call, but overall he was constantly asking a question of the Newcastle defense, which meant he became a threat. They didn't know what to do with him. Hence, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah. You know what? That is what it is. We're gonna keep it moving. Big up everyone in the chat. Call me crazy. Martinelli has a higher ceiling than Saka. Not much, but higher. I think I might agree with him on the fact that Martinelli, if he has the blistering pace, which is an advantage, and then if he can only add a couple things here and there, he can definitely get higher than Saka eventually. But right now, Saka's a little bit ahead of him. Jesus, I'm going to give Jesus similar to thing. I'll give him a 7.5. Just keep it moving. It was a good game for everybody. He was just a little bit average based on the rest of the players' performances today because everyone had such a good game. He was really good physically, did his job, build up play. He was getting bullied. People were trying to bully him. He was up for the battle. That's why I'm giving him a 7.5. It's kind of more because he was one of the guys up for the fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when it comes to the goal scoring side of things and everything else, maybe he didn't get a goal. Maybe he didn't do as much as a striker should. But he was there and he was creating chances. He was doing his job. He created one good chance, I remember, in the game. And he had 2 shots He had 2 shots on goal. One of them got blocked. One of them was from a tough angle. So you can't really fault him for not scoring a goal. But in the 87 minutes that he played, he was good. I would give him maybe just a little, maybe 7.5, just a little bit too much praise. I'll lower it down to a 7. What are we saying?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's his best game, but he did do a lot of what we needed him to in terms of hold up, in terms of trying to get players involved, and obviously being up for the fight, which was key today, but also not losing your head to the point you get a red card, because he did get elbowed a lot, he did get kicked around, so that does affect your flow, and he didn't cave into any of that or get involved too much. So he does deserve a bit of credit because he was at the, they were kicking the shit out of him. So yeah, 7 I think is fair overall.
The reason why I don't want to give him a 7.5 is because what's the difference between him and Saka in this game? What's really the big difference between him and Saka?
Nothing.
So it's fair to give him the same rating. That's why when people are saying 7.5, I want to give him a 7. I see
mean, he was more involved, I would say that, but
yeah. Kieran Tierney came in. Kieran Tierney came in and immediately gets a 7 for me. Defensively, he was good, solid performance, came off the bench, did his job perfectly, gets a 7. No question. Cool?
Oh yeah, but he was also like very vital for the Martinelli because he did draw the pushed up and then played the ball into Martinelli to allow that to happen. So I do think that's the impact you need him to come on. I think what's going to happen is Zinchenko's going to be the guy to get us the goals. We're going to go 1 or 2-0 up, and then Tierney's going to come off to finish the game. And I think that's the perfect way to utilize both their strengths.
Okay, what about Thomas Partey? I didn't really notice too much negative.
Was he on for enough to really say anything?
Give him a 5 and just kind of keep it moving.
Yeah. Same with the other two as well, with Reece Nelson and Eddie.
People saying Kieran Tierney put in a solid shift, 7. Arsblog gave him an 8. I'm going to give him a 7. 5 for Partey, just keep it simple. Not enough time played. Trossard, not enough time played. Eddie Nketiah, not enough time played.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson, not enough time played. It's just tough to rate those guys. They barely played, right?
Yeah, they only had 8 minminutes at most. And the game was done.
Let's just do a quick recap of the player ratings. So we got a 8.5 for Ramsdale, 7 for Ben White, 8 for KVR, 7.5 for Gabriel, 6.5 for Zinchenko, 9 for Jorginho, 8.5 for Xhaka, 8.5 for Odegaard. Saka gets a 7, Martinelli gets an 8, Jesus gets a 7, Tierney gets a 7, Partey gets a 5. And that's it. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. That's all she wrote for today's stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the live. Big up to everyone watching on YouTube. Make sure you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on your way out. And of course, if you are on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or whatever podcast app you're listening to this on, please do. Do they hit likes on that or leave a review?
I think
that's
follow.
What it is. Yeah, leave a review and help a brother out. But yeah, I'm definitely big up. Shout out Arsenal Informer in the chat. KT was solid today. Yeah, man, Arsenal Informer. What I'm gonna do is after I'm done this stream, I'm gonna make sure I also do my article for the post match for that. And yeah, make sure you guys also check me out on Twitter, TikTok, everything else. Love. And a lot of people are asking me why I don't do watch-alongs anymore. So I just wanted to share this with everybody on here as much as I did on Twitter. I tweeted this out earlier to let people know why I don't do watch-alongs. The reason why I don't do watch-alongs is because I watch the games with my wife, and it's kind of like one thing that we do together. She's also an Arsenal fan. So yeah, if you're wondering why I don't do watch-alongs like everybody else, that's the main reason why I don't do watch-alongs, right? But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone enjoys himself, and you guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. We're out of here, people, and love for the love, people. Hopefully, I'll be back later today with an Arsenal. No, not an Arsenal. I'll be back with Vibes from the 6, where we'll talk about the top 6 and review the Premier League weekend.